Assalamu alaikum, dear all. Today's topic is review of related literature. The review of related literature involves the systematic identification, location, and analysis of documents containing information related to the research problem. The term is also used to describe the written component of a research plan, a report that discusses the reviewed documents. These documents can include article, abstract, reviews, monographs, dissertations, book, other research reports, and electronic media effort. Purpose of literature review. Reviewing the literature is to determine what has already been done that relates to your topic. This knowledge not only prevents you from unintentionally duplicating another person's research, but it also gives you the understanding and insight you need to place your topic within a logical framework. Previous studies can provide the rationale for your research hypothesis and indications of what needs to be done can help you justify the significance of your study. Put simply, the review tells you what has been done and what needs to be done. Secondly, another important purpose of reviewing the literature is to discover research strategies and specific data collection approaches that have or have not been productive in investigation of topics similar to yours. This formulation will help you avoid other researchers' mistakes and profits from their experiences. It will suggest, for example, suppose your topic involved the comparative effect of a brand new experimental method versus the traditional method on the achievement of 8th grade science students. The review of literature may reveal 10 related studies that found no difference in achievement. Several of the studies, however, may suggest that the brand new method is more effective for certain kind of students than for others. Thus, you may reformulate your topic to involve the comparative effectiveness of the brand new method versus the traditional method on the achievement of a subgroup of 8th grade science students, those with low aptitude. Being familiar with previous research also facilitates interpretation of your study results. The results can be discussed in terms of whether and how they agree with previous findings. If the results contradict previous findings, you can describe differences between your study and the others, providing a rationale for the discrepancy. If your studies are consistent with other findings, your report should include suggestions for the next step. If they are not consistent, your report should include suggestions for studies that may resolve the conflict. Guidelines for a literature review. Beginning researchers often have a difficulty in determining how broad and comprehensive their literature review should be. At times, all the literature will seem directly related to the topic, so it may be difficult to determine when to stop. Determining if an article is truly relevant to the topic is complicated and requires time. Unfortunately, there is no simple formula to solve the problem. Uh, you have to decide using your own judgment and the advice of your teachers or advisor. Here are some guidelines, simple guidelines to providing to you for selection of literature. Avoid the temptation to include everything you find in your literature review. Bigger does not mean better. A smaller, well organized review is definitely referred to a review containing many studies that are only related to the problem. When investigating a heavily researched area, reviewing only those works that are directly related to your specific problem You will find plenty of references and should not have to rely on less relevant studies. For example, the role of feedback for verbal and non-verbal learning has been extensively studied in both non-human animals and human beings for a variety of different learning tasks. Focus on those using similar subjects or similar variables. For example, if you are concerned with the relation between frequency of feedback and chemistry achievement, you would probably not have to review feedback studies related to non human animal learning. When investigating a new or a little research problem area, review any study related in some meaningful way to your problem, gather enough information to develop a logical framework for the study and a sound rationale for the research hypothesis. For example, suppose you wanted to study the effect of an exam of non English speaking students on GPA. The students must pass the exam to graduate. Your literature review would probably include any studies that involve English as a second language classes and the effect of the culture specific grading practices, as well as studies that identify strategies to improve the learning of ESL students. Sources of literature. There are two main sources of literature. First, primary sources. Primary sources are publications in which researchers report the results of their studies directly to the reader. Most primary sources in education are journals such as the Journal of Educational Research or the Journal of Research in Science Teaching. These journals are usually published monthly or quarterly, and the articles in them typically report on a particular research study. Most college libraries pay for subscriptions to online collections that provide registered students free access to a wide array of online database, including electronic journals that allow users to download full text articles on demand. Secondary sources refers to publication in which authors describe the work of others. The most common secondary source in education are textbooks. A textbooks in educational psychology, for example, may describe several studies as a way to illustrate various ideas and concepts in psychology. Other commonly used secondary sources include educational encyclopedias, research reviews, usually peer-reviewed journals that publish literature review on specific topic, and yearbooks. This is the pictorial form of literature review process. First of all, your first step is formulate the research questions, set inclusions or exclusion criteria, select and access the literature, assess the quality of the literature include in the review, and finally analyze, synthesize, and disseminate the findings. Steps. Define the research problems as precisely as possible. Look at relevant secondary sources. These can include research review. Select and use one or two appropriate general reference works. Formulate search terms, keywords, or phrases pertinent to the problem or question of interest. Search for a relevant primary sources using appropriate general reference tools. Obtain and read relevant primary sources and note and summarize key points in the sources. Evaluating your sources. When you have retrieved a list of sources, you will need to evaluate them to determine not only if these sources are relevant, but whether they are reliable and legitimate. Good researchers must be able to distinguish between the quality and limitation of a source. So, good research requires excellent judgment. The first thing is relevancy. What was the purpose or problem statement of the study? Obviously, the first thing to do is to determine if the source really applies to your research topic and qualifies to be included in a review of related literature. Does the title of the source reflect research related to your work? Is there a refined questions or statement of purpose? The problem statement is often found in the abstract and it will allow you to determine the relevance of the research to your own research. Second is the author. Who was the author? What are the qualifications, reputations, and status of the author? In most databases, the name of the author is linked to any other published works in the databases. In the subject matter, a primary interest in the published work of the author. Is the author affiliated with any institution or organization? Most importantly, can you contact the author? Does the author have a personal website? Where was the source published? Does the information come from a scholarly or peer reviewed journals, an education related magazines, or a popular magazine? Is the information personal opinion or the results of a research study? Clearly, sources of different types merits different weights in your review. For instance, did you find your source in a referred or a non referred journal? In a referred journal, articles are reviewed by a panel of experts in the field and are more scholarly and trustworthy than articles from non referred or popular journals. Methodology. How was the study conducted? It is important to verify that the information presented in a particular source is objective and impartial. What was the methodology used to investigate the problems or test the hypothesis? Was an appropriate method used? Can the research be applied by others? Was the sample size suitable for the research? Does the source add to the information you have already gathered about your topic? Is the information presented in the source accurate? It is important to verify that the information presented in a particular source is objective and impartial. Guidelines for technical writing. Document facts and substantiate opinions. Cite reference to support your facts and opinions. Note that facts are usually based on empirical data, whereas opinions are not. In the hierarchy of persuasiveness, facts are more persuasive than opinions. Differentiate between the facts and opinion in the review. Define terms clearly and be consistent in your use of terms. Organize content logically. Direct your writing to a particular audience. Usually, the literature review is aimed at a relatively new readers, one who has some basic understanding of the topic but requires additional education to understand the topic or issue. Do not assume your audience knows as much as you do, but the topic and the literature they do not. So you have to write to educate them. Follow an accepted manual of style. The manual indicates the style in which chapter headings are set up, how table must be constructed, how footnotes and bibliography must be prepared, and the like. Commonly used manuals and their current editions are Publication Manual of the American Psychological Association, 6th edition, and the Chicago Manual for Style, 16th edition. Avoid affected verbiage and eschew obscuration of the obvious. In other words, limit big words and avoid jargon. Start each major section with a brief overview of the section. The overview may begin like this. In this section, three main issues are exampled. The first is and each major section with a summary of the main idea. Thank you very much.